These are the pictures from Atlanta. Last week, 2 bombs explode outside an abortion clinic there.
We shall walk.
On the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, folks with the National Organization for Women and other pro-choice supporters held a gathering at 5 Points South, all under the watchful eye of police.
We've checked areas where, it could happen, but, I don't want to say we're not expecting it. We're hopeful that it doesn't happen.
Because they're not only trying the tactic that one arm of terrorism.
These folks say they weren't worried anyway. They say bombings like those in Atlanta and Tulsa only fuel their fight.
There's no point. There's no point to being afraid. This is what I believe in. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand up for what I believe in. And there's no room to be afraid.
In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News. Combined, Teresa Phillips and Rhonda Yancey have been working for Birmingham City Schools for almost 20 years. Today, on the heels of privatizing the child nutrition program, they think their jobs are in jeopardy.
All we asking for is explanation, and I think we need an explanation because we don't make decisions.
Today, hundreds of lunchroom workers met with Dr. Sharon Bell, the representative for Birmingham City Schools. They met to discuss their future. Many of them say they got no answers. We tried to talk with Dr. Bell, but she refused us.
Something has not been right.
After today's meeting, several of the lunchroom workers met with their union representative, Michael Todd, to strategize about what to do next.
We've made a written request for all of the records involved in the CMP program.
Meanwhile, Teresa and Rhonda just want some answers. They say their family's survival depends on it.
I'm 34 years old. I'm a young woman. I can go out and probably find me one, but consider these other people that have been here 25 years, up in their 50s, almost at retirement time. I feel for them.
In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News. Allison Stout hasn't worked for a year. He's 24 and is having a tough time with no steady paycheck.
Bad. Can't have baby need diapers. You have to live by day. Want to know, well, where I'm going to get the next few dollars from to eat. It's hard.
Allison hopes this temporary agency will help him find work. And this may sound silly, but experts say getting out of the house is the first step.
Don't just stay at home and wait for a job to come. It won't. You have to go out and actually seek it out.
Jimmy Bridges helps folks like Allison look for jobs. He says in his office, people can use computers and other resources to get leads on work.
You have to basically look at your skills that you already have and try to evaluate what you want to do, look at your interest, then set some goals.
Something Allison hopes will help him. In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News.
Have to pick the pieces up and put them back together.
Renee McCall doesn't have a place to live.
I run outside and the clouds was going around and around. You could see them.
What she saw was a tornado. It ripped through this North Coleman County town of Berlin, cutting a path of destruction.
It opens your eyes in the blink of an eye. We could be dead right now.
Renee's mother, Patricia Farr, lived here as well. She survived 3 tornadoes, each time escaping only with her life. As lightning continues to light up the sky here in Coleman, it appears Mother Nature is still not done with her work. As for the tornado, luckily these folks say they just had minutes to get out of their houses before the tornado hit.
Dear Lord, give us enough time to get out. And He's been with me. Like I say, I've been in it 3 times already in my lifetime. And I thank God that we come out of it alive.
For Patricia and Renee, it's time to pick up the pieces of their lives and find a way to move on. In North Coleman County, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News.
Education, and and I think that not all blacks can dance.
We talk about the kinds of stereotypes we have about other people's groups.
Not all of us are racist.
We looked at the kind of stereotypes that being in the world develops for us around other people.
These kids at John Carroll High School are learning to put their differences aside and become better leaders, better citizens, better people.
I've learned that every person has good inside of them and that it's our responsibility to get it out of everybody and work together so that we really can become together.
And this spirited group learned more than just about racism. They learned about different likes and dislikes among their schoolmates. Things like athletes versus bookworms. Organizers hope the exercise will filter over to their everyday life.
We notice that when you empower young people, give them a chance to understand how they can really begin to affect the environment, they go right to work. They actually do the work.
And these kids say what they've learned is invaluable.
Everybody's different, and that's okay.
Something everyone, they say, needs to keep in mind. In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News.
Old as a hill, because now I've been up there 36 years.
Earlene Hunter says she's sick of seeing houses in her neighborhood go up in flames. In the past month, she says she's seen about 6 house fires in her area.
You hear the fire trucks and things, and you come out and you see the blaze like it's day. And it's disturbing.
Disturbing because they never know if their house is next.
I don't understand why people do things like this.
People who own property near the homes being burned down say they too are concerned because it brings down the neighborhood.
It's bad for the neighborhood. It looks bad in the neighborhood of an old burnt house. The city will have to come in and tear it down. Also, it damages the other houses around. Thank goodness it did no damage to my property here.
Police say they are avidly searching for suspects in this arson and others like it across the Inslee area. In fact, just today, they thought they had a suspect in this case, but it turns out the person had nothing to do with it. They say, however, that has not slowed their investigation. In fact, it's only renewed their effort. And that is good news, Earlene Hunter says, because she wants this whole mess put to an end.
It was once a well-kept neighborhood, and everybody kept their own property and kept it up.
In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News.
As I told you before, it's going to be a long, hard fight.
And these folks say that's exactly what it's been for the past few days for them. They all work for the Birmingham School System's Child Nutrition Program and say the school board's plans to privatize the lunch program will cost them their jobs.
We do not process any free nor reduced application.
Today, hundreds of lunchroom workers told board members why privatizing was not the way to go. At times, the meeting got heated.
I would respectfully ask that you use words that are reasonable and words that are not offensive. If you will use those words, you can continue to speak.
To continue to keep our jobs. We don't need anybody to come in and privatize.
But the chances of changing the board's decision to privatize are slim to none. They've already advertised for bids. But the board says there is a stipulation. Any company hired must give first crack at jobs to current lunchroom workers. But these folks say there's no guarantee they'll get those jobs, and if they do, they want to know if they'll be able to keep their current salaries. In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News. Earlier this week, hundreds of lunchroom workers rallied at the school board meeting to tell board members why they feel privatizing the school lunch program is a bad move.
Well, many of us have worked for this system for 20 plus years and have survived hard times and problems before. We have the experience and expertise to resolve our problems.
Privatization is the answer the board has chosen to correct the problems in the child nutrition program, and they better hope it works. If not, State Superintendent Ed Richardson is going to hit the group even harder, taking back a large chunk of state money.
I do know the board has voted to outsource that, but I'll just have to read their plan to see if that meets the standard.
Many of these workers have steadily complained privatization will cost them their jobs. Well, Richardson says,
I know that whoever gets the contract for outsourcing will need good, competent, hardworking people. And it certainly would be to their advantage to have those people that know the schools and know the students and know the procedures.
In Birmingham, Rod Carter, NBC 13 News. Keisha Rutledge is one of several Fairfield school employees who piled into this school. What started as a peaceful march and rally to denounce drugs quickly turned into a heated battle between marchers and local residents.
Well, they're upset. He's a drug man, and they selling dope.
Marchers say this area is overrun with drug problems, but these protesters claim they are targeting the wrong people.
I agree 100%, 100%, 100% to get drugs out of the neighborhood, but make sure you're at the right place where the drugs are.
As marchers prayed, these residents screamed. Within minutes, the march continued, but protesting residents were still bitter.
You're not going to be able to stop it like this. No, believe me, they bring it in the community. And believe me, it's not that much drugs going on in the projects.
We have a problem with drugs in our community. And it's time for us to stand up to it face to face and tell these drug dealers that we don't want them here anymore.
Organizers say confrontations like the one that happened here tonight is proof there are problems in this community. And Birmingham's top cop says it's going to take protests, marches like the one tonight, not just his officers, to get rid of those problems.
This is what you call grabbing the bull by the horn and coming out. And this is what we try to encourage all the time, is that the people of the community have got to become involved.
And that's what March for Hope organizers say they plan to do, stay involved. In Birmingham, Rod